Well, good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing today? Michael and Israel here from Bucks Island with yet another Technician Tuesday. Uh, Ran into one issue last week. Just want to remind you if you are watching this in a shared, if I shared it into a group or something like that, and that's where you're seeing this video coming up, jump into the video on Facebook and drop your comment in so that it'll show up. So while you guys are getting your questions in, um, I guess we'll start off with you busy
Oh yeah,
always.
always.
Um, yeah, it's been a little nutso around here. Any fun?
I took a quarter of a day off Saturday.
Took a quarter of a day off.
Yes.
Oof. Yeah, I don't.
I would say my first Saturday off in a year, but it wasn't completely off. It was just a quarter off.
Well, every now and then you got to take
You got
time for yourself,
splurge.
right?
Got
Yeah.
splurge, yeah.
Well, cool. Well, guys, drop the questions in on whatever it is that we can help you out with today. Anything marine tech related, motors, boats, trailers. Um, I don't know. I'd love to see you stump. Maybe a complex stereo question.
I used to install stereo.
Marine
so
radio. All right. Well, so whatever you guys have on your mind, definitely jump in. So I'd say at least around here officially we've turned the corner on weather.
I hope so.
Gotten out of the cold.
Mhm.
So if folks are wanting to get their boat in to get it ready for the summer, if they haven't listened to us for the last 2.5 months,
If we can find a place to park one.
yeah, if we can find a place. So what do we need to be thinking about as summer is quickly, spring break's done.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Well, I don't know. Keep your head above water, I guess.
All right. Well, so de-winterize. I know I've seen some questions come in about what to do with old fuel. Um, be thinking about swapping that stuff out. All that kind of good stuff. So let's jump in here and see Gordon Davis getting us started. Have a 95 intruder that won't idle down after cranking.
Okay. Is it just started doing this? I guess it's the first question I would ask. I mean, if it's something that just started happening, you may have a stuck cable or something.
Mm-hmm.
I've had on those, they've got linkages that all kind of screw together all the way down, and I've seen them come loose, and then one of them gets stuck open. Those intruders actually have a light sensor on top of them. If they fail, they can do all kinds of crazy stuff like idle. There's also an adjustment at the top for adding timing to the idle, or adding or wide open or decreasing it. So
Okay.
some of that little piece sometimes can get some gunk in it, and it could stick open.
Right.
It advances this way with a little arm, and if the arm comes back and it doesn't, it's just going to stay revved up. So
All right.
could be a number of things, but without looking at it, there's no real good way of.
Gotcha.
I tell people observation first. Pull your cal off if you see something that looks off, and check that first.
All right. Well, Gordon, if you got more details, feel free to drop it in there.
If you got a hot foot, it could be stuck too.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something you don't want to overlook.
TJ, one of our YouTube partners, building a Jackson big rig for us.
Okay.
So little different aspect of the technician side of boats, but getting a motor put on those, and giving a shout out to the Hobies.
If I can get a bolt to 25 horse on one of those.
Sure.
On the 360, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, they if I understand correctly, they kind of built that with the intention of being able to put a 5-horse motor on the back of it at some point. So
it's missing a 2 though.
Yeah. The Hobies, I don't know. They might be able to take something big.
I'm ready to put a sail on the kayak.
Yeah, I gotta
Maybe
get
throw
a.
me some outriggers on there
Yeah.
so I don't
We're
just
gonna
fall over.
turn into a sailing channel, sailing shop.
I'd love to sail. I just don't have time to. I have
Yeah,
to do it at night, which
yeah,
I think is dangerous.
yeah. It's probably not the most, especially around here. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. I've seen some sailboats on the open ocean. That's a little different story. So, all right. Well, guys, we're real short on we're short. Ugh. It's been one of those
Short on
days.
questions.
Short on questions. That's what I'm trying to say.
Next time we're
All right. Yeah, let's put a show on a Hobie. Yeah, that would be. That's if we can get shows.
Or Hobies.
Yeah, or Hobies.
Seats.
Yeah, so I don't know. The rigging up the Hobie is definitely a little more complicated than the Jacksons, but I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking. I want the 360 that I got ordered for me. I think that's going to be a fun boat. I'm really ready to play with that thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Best prop for Ranger Z20 225 Pro XS Optimax 25 pitch Fury Tempest 5400 RPMs. Thoughts?
I'd say. I guess I would ask you what the 25 Tempest is running. You may sometimes you get a little more speed. Like a Fury, a good rule of thumb is it raises you up like a pitch. So instead of it being a 25, it's like the 25 Tempest. The Fury 25 is more like the 26 Tempest, I would say. So it kind of.
In terms of performance, or I mean
Yeah, it usually drops.
What is the difference between the Fury and the?
Well, the Fury is made out of a different alloy. What that alloy is, I don't know. You can actually, feel the difference in it. It sounds different when you pluck it and stuff. But the cup is different. And the biggest thing with a Fury is it's like out of the box, supposed to be blueprinted and balanced, sort of. So, but the only problem with that is if you nick a blade, just barely nick a blade on a piece of driftwood, it moves real easy and it changes the performance pretty much immediately. So there's not a lot of give in that prop as far as damage. The Tempest, you can beat it up pretty good, and it usually doesn't lose a lot of performance. And there's a lot more cup in the ears on the Tempest, so it tends to lift a little bit more too. So I don't know.
All right. Well,
I prefer I prefer overall the Tempest just because it's a little more rugged. You might not run as quickly, but my advice to you is find something that runs closer to 5,800, 6,000 RPMs.
Okay.
If you lug those Optimaxes down too much, put too much of load on them, it'll actually start getting piston slap and damaging, putting lines in the cylinder, and you'll end up failing.
All right. So would you say going up or down?
I'd stick with if the 25 Tempest Plus is if you're up there at the 5750, something like that. That's a good happy place.
Okay.
So, then you always go down. You always go with a 24 Fury if you want to try to run a Fury because it'll run a little bit more like the Tempest. You might get a little more speed out of it.
All right.
Especially in hot water.
All right, Danny Bruce. Compartment lids squeaking. Let's see. What kind of stripping could I use to stop the noise?
Danny, what is your? I know you've. I think maybe got a Skeeter. I'm assuming the name is very familiar. I'm just trying to remember what year your boat is and which model it is. Some of the if it's an FX underneath there's a bar that supports the lid. Oh, yours is the Phoenix. Okay, so don't know so I know exactly who you're going now. I'm not real familiar with their decks, so if it's I know one thing, if it's got metal in there or real clean fiberglass gel coat, I know the carpet will squeak.
Okay.
And I've actually taken some O'Keeffe's like hand lotion and rubbed it on the bottom of the carpet just to, give it some lubrication, and it would stop. I've had people really, like on the skeeters, they've got powder coated aluminum, and if you really clean that deck real squeaky clean, it'll sit there and squeak, and you got to put something on, just some, it can be a, um, WD-40, but I'd rather use something that's water soluble,
Okay.
because some of the oil-based stuff can actually eat the carpet glue, so you don't want to use anything silicone or oil-based too much. So if you use something water soluble, even hand lotion, as long as it doesn't have a lot of oil in it, you can put it on there, and sometimes it'll keep it squeaking. And if it's still squeaking after that, you may have something else going on. You may have, some underdecking pieces rubbing against each other, which is typically what it is in a skeeter. There's something rubbing.
Okay. Well, hope that helps, Danny. I think it's going to be a short day for us. I'm glad everybody's boats are working. Awesome.
I got a lot to do.
Yeah. I saw you up underneath a pontoon. Looks like you were having fun.
Yeah, welding.
Always
fun. Uh-oh. Ooh.
I don't know if I can read all that. So, run Tempest Plus, caught a sandbar in Canoe Creek Saturday. Made the Fury look sandblasted. That's probably not good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know if you're running better before you hit the sandbar, but yeah, Furies don't take damage well, so you'll lose RPM and speed with those if they get out of balance. So.
Okay. I'm reading that as the Fury only ran 5,400 RPM at 64 miles an hour before hitting the sandbar. That's the way I'm reading that.
Okay. Either way.
All right.
Go with the Tempest. I like it.
All right. So go with that. Try the Tempest out. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna get back to work. I appreciate you guys jumping in here with us, and I hope you got some helpful tips. He says yes. Yeah. So it was running 5,400 RPM before hitting the sandbar, 64 miles an hour. All right.
Those Z boats, they weren't real fast boats to begin with.
So,
they're real stable though.
So try that 25 pitch Tempest. See if that can get those RPMs up a little bit. All right. There you go. Let us know how it works out. And watch the sandbar. Yeah, be careful out there, guys. The water's pretty nuts right now, all over the place. So. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday or whatever day it is when you watch this. And we'll see you next week with some more answers to your questions. So we'll talk to you later, guys. Thanks.